When a naive Anakin was lured into the dark side by Darth Sidious, Palpatine did so by promising him things Anakin lacked in the Jedi Order. Palpatine knew that Anakin ultimately wanted control. He wanted to harness his true power and expand on his ability as much as possible. Also, he played onto his dark side, Anakin's need to rule and to create order. That's what he lacked the most as a Jedi. He was forced to adhere to a code that he wasn't too fond of. Not only was this shown in the movies, but also in the Clone Wars series, where Anakin goes berserk at times and he uses dark techniques to achieve his goals. Well, lo and behold, it did not take long for Sidious to break that promise to Anakin, now Vader, very quickly. Vader had two problems within the new Empire. Nobody knew who he was in the beginning. People were jealous of him to the point where they tried to assassinate him multiple times. And the second problem is that just as the Jedi Order forbid to do a lot of things that he set his mind to, Palpatine again would forbid Darth Vader to touch a specific Imperial officer. He would forbid Vader to ever go near this officer and let alone kill him. We will learn more later in the video, but as I said at the start of this newly formed empire, it was gruesome for Vader. As the one mysterious figure said, Palpatine elevates this person out of nowhere, tells us nothing about him, lets him act with no restrictions whatsoever. It's not right. Is he a servant or his bodyguard? So clearly the Imperials are totally confused. Wanting to get rid of him, they tried to have him killed, but to no avail. We saw this of course in issue number 11 as Vader is ambushed by these hired mercenaries. While there was infighting, his lightsaber that he extracted from Master Anfala shattered to pieces, with him only being able to salvage the crystal that he bled on Mustafar. The hired mercenaries then would give out the information that the order to kill him came all the way at the top, presumably from the offices of Emperor Palpatine. With his lightsaber now destroyed, he was left without a weapon for that period of time. After finishing on Kabaria, Vader was heading back to Coruscant, but before he confronted Sidious, he had to make sure. His personal droid went through an analysis proving that there is a 97% chance the order came from Palpatine's office, presumably by Palpatine himself, which of course later on we learn that that's not the case. During this time, however, he was melding and slowly finishing the build on his new lightsaber. The last piece was put in, and finally, it was done. The one true lightsaber. With this lightsaber turned on, a new era began for Lord Vader. In fact, this is the exact lightsaber we see in the Tridge. The lightsaber with which he killed his old nemesis, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The lightsaber that slashed Luke's hand. The future was going to be bright for this elegant weapon. As they were approaching Coruscant, suddenly missiles were coming for his ship, targeting Vader and everyone on board. Without a doubt, it was an inside job. Thankfully, the Sith came off without a hitch, but determined to end this cowardice by certain Imperials. Now, Vader had to intensely focus on finding these perpetrators. He went on to meditate deep into the belly of darkness. Connecting with the energy of this planet, he picks up on a conversation between two masked men. It was indeed these two who had planned the attempt all along, exclaiming that they are dissatisfied about Vader's presence, jealous as to how fast and without merit his rise to power was. It was obvious that they had no idea who Vader actually was, but most importantly, it is made readily apparent that these two individuals were in fact Imperials, serving the Empire and not knowing Vader's place within it. With a clear idea of what needs to happen next, Vader informs his master about what he had learned and demanded that all of the Imperial officers be brought before them. Palpatine understood Vader perfectly, but had to ask, is there any other way? Vader gave a firm no. There had to be consequences for an attempt on his life. Not once, but now twice. He would either kill some or kill them all. Seeing the determination Vader had, Palpatine reluctantly agreed to his terms except for Tarkin. He explained to Vader that Tarkin was a valuable piece to this Imperial puzzle. He would need Tarkin for the long run. Vader listened and agreed. Anything for him to finally have vengeance. Understandably, Palpatine grants Vader's wish. In a vast hall, all the elite Imperial officers are gathered, facing the stage where Palpatine and Vader stood before them. The Emperor addresses all of them, taking into consideration that this form of government was fairly new to them, and because of this, the hierarchy remains unclear. Now, he will eliminate any confusion. He introduced Darth Vader. They are to understand that he speaks in the Emperor's name. Heed his words carefully. Now it was Vader's turn. The first thing he did was to name 5 Imperial officers to step forward. Sweating and panicking, they did. Vader went on to tell them and the rest that 2 attempts had been made to end his life already. However, that does not faze him. He survived, and he will always survive. Although right now he is still not sure of who the actual traitors are, he reaffirms to them that they can't kill him. In the end, he will survive. But not these randomly 5 chosen Imperials. Suddenly he grips his fist, chokes all 5 as they were desperately grasping for air. He kills them in cold blood before all the others, just to show an example of what he is capable of. Without saying a word, he leaves the area, with the rest of the officers trembling in fear, and of course, this is exactly how Vader liked it. This was his official introduction into his new world. A world of hate. A world of anger. Hope you guys like this new issue, and I really enjoyed the fact that we got some clarity on the Imperial structure early on, and in fact how confusing it was for people to understand Vader's role in the beginning. They got it down right. This introduction was very appropriate for the Sith Lord. But of course, leave any and all thoughts down below in the comments, guys. I really want to hear your opinions on this. Thank you so much for watching this video, my friends, and may the Force be with you